Gavin, not quite to beat today after this fantastic winning run your team have been on. How do you reflect on what you've just watched?
Yeah, obviously really disappointed with the result. It's that's the culmination of the game, but slightly aggrieved because I felt as though a defeat is probably really harsh on us. I thought the lads gave everything. You know, the minimum we ask of them is hard work, desire to do a job and a half. Be efficient, be reliable, commit to everything. It's our minimum requirements, and you know, we can't say that the players didn't give their everything today. Were we naive at times? And a little bit, yes. Did the referee play a huge part in killing our momentum and allowing them to sort of dictate the game a little bit? I would say so. But yeah, hugely disappointed for the lads. Equally, we have to zoom out. You know, I'm really proud of them. It's no one's carved us out in, you know, carved through us in what 7-8 games now, and they didn't today. You know, a really good Walsall team who have shown this season that they're very capable, and you know, they didn't do that today. But very unlike us, we got caught on 2 set pieces, so we'll be particularly disappointed about that.
Yeah, you must be frustrated about that because your team have defended so well, haven't they, since you came into the club? Yeah,
it's difficult. Like I say, we had a big thing about not giving away cheap free kicks, and what didn't help today, you know, and it's a good strategy from Walsall. You know, they've obviously seen the Salford game from the other night, and they've edged a plan to be pretty soft, you know, fall over at the right times. And listen, you know, it's a game strategy that I understand. You know, sometimes you've got to do it when it's not going well for you. You've got to get every ounce out of the game, but that's where you need a really strong referee. And I'm honestly, I'm really loath to criticise referees. It must be really difficult out there in the middle of the pitch, but it's what they're paid to do. And you know, I felt like he was particularly poor today, and not a reflection on the result. You know, equally, if we'd have won today, I would have recognised it was, you know, the referees sent roughs off, which we've looked back there. It's abysmal. We've had a stonewall penalty in the middle of the goal. Where Trey's tripped over. We just look back at it, and it's anywhere else on the pitch is a free kick, so it's a penalty. But we've been, you know, with the referees' decisions and with our own accountability, we've been on the other end of the big moments today. You know, they've had 2 chances and scored 2. We've probably had, we just said there, about 5 or 6 or 7 where we feel like we should score. The goal actually that we score, which is an incredible free kick from Ewan, is probably our hardest chance. So yeah, we were on the wrong end of the big moments today.
Yeah, fabulous free kick, wasn't it, from you and Morgan? It just keeps getting better and better every week, it would seem. Yeah, and I feel like the team were in a really good momentum there. We started fast, you know, in the first 10-15 minutes we were excellent, you know, we were a cut above them. But credit to them, they really killed our momentum, and I think we lacked a little bit of humility after the 15th minute. I feel like, I'm not sure whether the mentality was this will be an easy day and, you know, we'll cruise on through, but certainly wasn't, you know, we also had something to say about that. So I feel like thereafter it was very even, and they were starting to get on top, but the goal gave us real momentum, you know, We're disappointed with their goal, the first one, because it just drops in the box, and like I say, it's big moments. It goes through Sangi's legs, and you know, it's a little bit of a scruffy goal. But yeah, when we got the goal at half time, we really felt like we were on the ascendancy and in a good place. But equally, we knew that we had to be better in moments of transition, in moments of not being naive, in you know, and again, we'd voiced our concerns to the referee in the right way. But like I say, if there was a level of consistency, I would have been happy. But it seemed as though Mal Benning's getting wrestled in the middle of the pitch, and there's no free kick, and they go over at a canter. But again, don't blame Walsall or their players, but the referee there has got to understand the game and be a bit stronger. You've referred to it already, Gavin, but that red card, how surprised were you when you saw the red card produced for Josh Ruffles? Yeah, just shocked like everybody else. It's embarrassing, really. You know, we've looked back at it there. He's fully entitled to go for that ball. You know, it's no dangerous play. There's no stud showing, and the players stoop down, and it's, you know, it's fair game. You know, you've got to go for the ball, and the player has made absolutely the most of it with no mark on his face. And again, like I say, I don't want to criticise the Walsall players because look, they've got a job to do. You know, that's how they see fit to do it. You know, the big centre half at the back there, I'm not sure I'd have fallen down so many times as him. But look, like I say, they come and they've got a job to do, and they want to be. You know, they've been on a poor run. Sometimes you just got to win games. And again, I felt today was probably a fair result would be a draw, but the big moments fell to us. And we didn't take them. So yes, of course, the referee's had a particularly poor game, and we've been on the wrong end of his particularly poor decisions. But equally, you know, there's moments there of accountability for us where we know we can be better. With the red card, is it one you might look at in terms of
putting a case together, perhaps?
Well, absolutely. Obviously, I'm guided by the powers that be, but ultimately for me, I'm looking back at it especially, it's a real poor decision. But it's whether the FA and the referee have the humility to look back, and it's very rare that these get overturned. I think they're loath to do so, because then it sets a precedent for everybody to appeal. So looking back at it, my suggestion would be that we appeal, because it's farcical. It's a farcical decision, as is the penalty on Trey. But again, we're not there for the big moments. And what I was really pleased about was, it's important that we don't get emotional with results. The fans, we made a point of making sure that we celebrate with them after 90-odd minutes like we do when we win. And I thought they were excellent today. Our supporters, it just shows a real unity. And again, for them to not get the points that we'd hoped for and what they'd paid their money for, but to still stand there after and be clapping the players. I mean, they were just absolutely extraordinary, the lot of them. And again, as I've been saying to the players, if you give everything for these fans, regardless of result, yes, the result is obviously the important thing. Of course, I get it. But if you give everything for these fans, they'll give everything back. And it was a real... I know it hurts. The players are in there hurting, and it's 3 points that we would have liked to have taken today. Or certainly, we certainly didn't deserve to get beat. I didn't feel, but the recognition from the fans is just, again, I think it was a month ago today, my first game against Barnet, just to see the transition around the club, and everybody plays a part in that. Everybody plays a part right the way through the football club, including the supporters. So, if we're going to take any positives from today, it would be the fact that we've stuck together. We'll take our licks, and we'll move on into the next game. Again, we can't get emotional because we've got 11 games to go.
So noted the big finish as well today. Great ball in for Will Boyle with time almost up, the last action of the game. When the ball's in the edge, you think this is going to be the moment for 2-2?
Yeah, I felt like the penalty on Trey was the moment. I felt like Sangi's moment in the middle of the goal was the moment. I felt like Boyley's header. I felt like, Tommy cutting in, and I was right behind it, and it was curling in and hits our own player. So we've had chances today. Again, we've been on the wrong end of the big moments. The big moments, decisions from the referee, as well as a lot of little ones as well, that's gathered a momentum into the game and have buoyed Walsall on. But we've also, again, like I say, the referees performed particularly poor today, but we have to be accountable for ourselves, and we've got to do it on our terms, is what I would say. We've got to. We can't leave it down to the referees. We're seeing that now. We can't leave our destiny in their hands, because we've had a couple of really good ones. I actually thought the one away at Colchester was excellent. And I know that was a defeat. But so today I don't get emotional with the result, but the referee's just been really poor, and then we've been poor in a big moment. So we know we've got to be better. We know that we've got to take control of games and be the master of our own destiny and put our best foot forward. But again, everybody's given their absolute all today. It hasn't been for the want of trying, and like I say, on another day, I think it could have been our day.
How's Luca Hall, who's been so good for you since you came in to the football club in particular, had to go off injured just before half-time?
Yeah, I think for Luca to be sort of going down in the game showed us that there was a concern. And we'll obviously assess it, but to lose him and potentially Ruffs could be a massive blow for us. But look, we've got a squad for a reason. The lads have to step up now, and we've got a full week to work with it. We're going to give the lads a little bit of time just to rest, because it's been a hectic month. They've played a lot of games. Like I say, my first game was a month ago. It's eighth game today. It's a big effort from the lads. I know they're paid to do it. I get that, but they're only human, so they'll deserve their rest. And then we'll go again. We'll be back in Tuesday, and we'll really hit the ground running, because, like I say, they deserve it, and they deserve a really good opportunity just to recover, and so we can come back and be the best version of ourselves.
Is it clear what the problem is with Luca, what he might have done?
No, not yet. No, just like I say, we need to assess it. We don't want to say anything too much, but we're hopeful, of course. But when he's hobbling off, you can't imagine it's going to be any time soon that we'll see him.
Just finally, it has been so busy, hasn't it? It's been so full on, Saturday, Tuesday onwards throughout the month of February. In some ways, do you welcome having a week now to prepare for Chesterfield, or have you enjoyed the momentum, especially when you've been on such a fantastic run of results and playing every 3 or 4 days?
Yeah, it's chicken and egg really, because again, like you say, when you're winning and the momentum, and there's a loss today, so you want to get back to it as quick as possible. But like you rightly say, we've been in a month. The lads have taken on a lot of detail. Sometimes it needs to sort of embed itself in their brain. We do play very strategically. We do try and predict the future in games, and they've done it excellently. And even in parts today, we know we can be better, but they have done it in parts today. But ultimately now, I think a rest comes a good time for the lads, and I think we'll give them their energy back, as I say, and then they'll be bang on it again, ready for the Chesterfield game.
As always, thanks for your time, Gavin.
Thanks, Stu.